The fire at the iconic Flying Turns roller coaster broke out at approximately 2 a.m. this morning, and these images were captured shortly after at 3. Large segments of the ride were engulfed in flames, and by the morning the main part of the ride had been destroyed. Fire crews are currently on the scene to stop the spread, and further work continues to dampen the wreckage, but the future of the ride seems uncertain. Hi you guys, welcome to 1966, and I guess England might be celebrating the World Cup win, but the Royal Mile's in mourning for the loss of their original roller coaster. Mind you, it's kind of the worst kept secret, and how convenient, it just came along in time for Arrow to launch their new steel roller coaster. Suppose I better clear up this mess really, hadn't I? And yeah, I definitely should have filmed this bit before the next bit, because someone somewhere is going to ask where the fire damage went, and it's magicked itself away, because witches. Oh yeah, you guys, that is way better, I think. Now we have ruthlessly ripped out the remains of the burnt out carcass, we can once again turn our attentions to Six Flags Over Texas, because we've got a mine train that we need to copy, and this cacophonous mess is what you get off the back of those really bad decisions. But hey, it is a massive project. I've kept the original landmarks in so you can see roughly where things are. I'll move those in a moment when we do the proper tour. But guys, this is the project, and remember, by 2023 standards, these coasters are trash. Like, they are not very good at all, but it's 1967. This has never been done before. This is cutting edge technology, and my god, this is going to take the world by storm. So let's real quickly move the landmarks. I don't want to delete that station, by the way. I don't have the heart to. Let me know in the comments what you think I should do with it, because I want to reuse it. At the moment, it's going to end up in the graveyard. It seems like such a shame to delete it. I spent so long doing it. So anyway, this is what we've got. Here's the station. It comes into the typical Arrow pre-drop into the bend, and then you can't see it at the moment because of the terrain, but there is another drop here that goes into the lift hill. The lift hill itself is only about 20 degrees. It's really not a steep lift hill, and it's also not capable of doing high speeds on it either. So it's yeah, primitive, let's say. And then it comes into the first inverted commas drop. Now, we don't have the technology or the pacing or anything like that to do long drawn out drops. We just have to meander our way down using a bit of banking and a few poorly judged turns, and that's what we've got here, that sort of meandering, and then it just plays with the terrain as it goes round. Now, I've not smoothed this coaster yet, by the way, so I know that's pretty true to life, you know, hashtag realism, but it's going to need smoothing because this is like quite jank in a few places. But what I wanted to do is show you how I'm playing with the original version of the terrain. So I've built this over the existing terrain that would have existed, including this bit here where it comes into a turnaround and then uses the original dig out that was for the lift hill. And I've left the capture thing that I put in for the lift hill here, right? So it uses the original terrain there, and then it comes round into the second lift hill. So yes, this is a long coaster, and in fact these coasters really were. So comes into the second lift hill, and then it just meanders its way down again. I mean, look at this boring bit of track. Yes, I don't even think Planet Coaster likes it in the rating system either. And we come into a turnaround, another turnaround, and it comes underneath the track here, turns around this way, comes underneath the track again. It's got a bit of pacing, a bit of speed by this point, by the way, and it comes into this really badly profiled turn, which really needs to be smoothed out, and then into a lift hill, and into this bit that's going to run alongside the log flume. I want this to actually be very similar to the Six Flags Over Texas one, where there's a scene here, and then yes, we do go into our steep drop here, so we are going to go into a steep drop, and then it comes into a helix, a really tight helix, which you can't see at the moment because of the terrain, but it comes up and then into the final brake run. It's a 3-train operation. I mean, at the moment it doesn't stack, it sort of leaves itself in the station, but it's a 3-train operation. That's pretty much what it should be, and this is the whatever coaster with the mine train swapped out. I know I use this to represent the Vekoma mine trains, but it's what it is. We've got no other choice. And then elsewhere in the area, I am starting to take the opportunity to redevelop the area into a wider Western theme. So a new ride has appeared. It is 1967, so this ride now exists. I think our test flight might need to move, and then I'm going to do some work and stuff on this area. So this is a bit of a mess. See you in a minute. Yeah, you guys, there is a slight problem with deciding to rip out a fairly rare and unique coaster and replacing it with something that in 2023 is probably going to be regarded as a monstrosity. It's the fact that with it, I've taken up the opportunity to extend the western area into this area too. And I mean, it kind of feels like it might be a bit of a step too far. You know, in 1967, would the park have taken the opportunity to flesh out an entirely new area at the same time? Possibly, but probably unlikely. Well, we are where we are. We're here now. Let's just enjoy the ride. So this is what we've got, and I'm actually liking how this is coming together. It's complementing the log flume area quite nicely. It's feeling like it's a western area that's coming together, even though we have had to do a fairly hefty bit of tree removal to get here. And of course I am starting to take the opportunity up here to like extend the park into an area that we've not extended to yet. We're not always going to live in the realms of what we had here, right? So we are going to extend into extra bits of the park and make the park bigger. Now it's not going to sprawl like World of View Muse did, but we're certainly not going to stay this small park. So let's have a look at what we've got so far. Now let's start here, shall we? Because that last time lapse is probably not going to be very interesting. It's just a lot of me placing a lot of beams, but it's needed, and these custom supports can absolutely go to hell. Like, are they worth it for the build? Absolutely. Are they worth it because some dickhead is still going to dislike the video and unsub as a result? No, really not. But hey, they look absolutely amazing. Like, I know I've kept the steel supports in it so you can see the contrast between the two, right? But these early Arrow coasters, they absolutely had wooden supports. They were treated like wood is with steel toppers. They were like almost the first hybrid coasters, really, weren't they? But hey, it looks so good. I've just used the same supporting stuff as the log flume, so it's consistent across the entire area. But these supports are really dense, and sometimes they touch and sometimes they don't, and they're an absolute nightmare. So I don't know if I've made any faux pas. I absolutely will have done. Like, I've checked all of the clearance and stuff of everything, and I know everything is okay. I've got a bit of tidying up to do with the track work and whatever because I've smoothed it. But yeah, have I made faux pas? Absolutely. Do I care? No, I really don't. It's the $2.20 principle. Does it look alright from the upside? Yes, it does. Therefore, I'm sticking with it. And the fact that I backed myself and snooked myself into a corner because I hadn't realised, well, I had realised, but I hadn't thought about bringing the track underneath the lift hill. Yeah, it is what it is. Let's look at the station building. I really didn't want to go for the square, boxy building with this one. I wanted that idea of a mine style building, or maybe a sawmill style building. So I'm trying my art at, or trying my hand at different artwork shapes, you know, different things going on. I like it. I didn't want a boxy building. I need to do a lot of tidying up. There's going to be lots of faux pas hidden with roofing and stuff, so this is all going to make sense. But actually, what I wanted was for it to look alright from the sight line here, so I can maybe put a sign here and have it like on display. Would the park have put the station here in better view? Yeah, possibly. But hey, because I wanted to line the ride up with this, and I wanted the lift hill in a specific place, and I wanted to reuse this bit here where the original lift hill of the flying turns was, I was kind of snookered, so is what it is. Again, there's lots of decisions that I've taken in this one that I'm like, would I do something differently? Yeah, probably. But does it look all right? Yeah, actually, I'm all right with it. Talking of being all right with it and new design decisions, the queue line. I am toying and playing with the idea of not actually completely fencing the queue line. This is very much taken from inspiration of Big Thunder Mountain. I quite like how it just opens up every now and again into this themed area, and you are free to just cross over and do what you want. I mean, in 2023, people are idiots and they're not going to take any notice of the fact there's stuff here. You actually need to pen people in to stop people doing things, and even then they find a way of climbing through a fence. But hey, I'm starting the idea here. I wanted to do something slightly different, and like this bit here, for example, just put a fence between and put mud and whatever in the middle and maybe some kind of theming and be done with it. Don't like waste time on fencing, so done. And then this bit here, I have started to put where I'm going to have undercover stuff. This is by no means anywhere near done. This needs to be done in the next bit, but I'm just starting to get a feel for how like the underground bits are going to be, and I've also done that over here too, how this is going to fit out. Like I say, lots of detailing that's actually needed. By the way, can we just appreciate this turnaround? How much of an Arrow turnaround is that? Yeah, it is. Let's not even lie about that to make friends. And then we've got our zipper. Are they called a zipper? What are they actually called in real life? I don't know. I'm going to call it a zipper because that's what I know from Roller Coaster Tycoon 3. You would have seen this in the time lapse taking many different positions along with these buildings. What I actually did was I ended up having this building and this building back to back to each other, and that just didn't feel right in the end. So what I did was I put the zipper up in this place and I moved the buildings up, and that's because when I start to think about how this is going to extend, I've got an idea of another building that needs to come in here, and then of course it's going to come into what will eventually be the future Rapids site. I think it's going to be Rapids. So that's going to be there. The ice cream parlour has a new home. I decided to keep it intact. It makes sense that the park might just take it and relocate it. So yeah, I've just kept it there. And then we've got a new gift shop that's taking place here, or taking shape here. I don't really know what it's going to look like inside. I just wanted to start getting the external feel here, just to sort of see if it sits all right on the sightline, and I'm happy with it. And then of course this one has also appeared. I absolutely wanted this kind of thing in this space when I was designing like how I wanted the path and stuff at the top here. Now what I have done is I've created a bit of a squeeze, but I'm alright with that. It makes absolute sense. Could someone jump from here onto the roof? Yeah, probably. It's going to happen anyway, so whatever, just let them do it. But this is like the western bit I'm going for. I need to really seriously flesh out this. Again, this is just shaping of a building. I haven't done any detailing, as you can see, just giving an idea for how I want it to feel. And then the train station. The train station now takes on this whole new world. It needed a cover. It needed to have something going for it, so he's just walked through the wall. It's fine. Don't look. Yeah, so I just wanted to give it a bit of a... He's now just walked out of the wall. Give it a personality and give it like a western makeover. And that's partly because I wanted to block the sight of the rest of the park from this point, because I wanted it to feel like you're actually inside the western area, right? So that's kind of what I'm going for. You can see the mine train there, and you can see like the rest of the area. I need to do all of its kitting out, all of its detailing, and all of that stuff. Test pilot then, again, it's been in many different positions, but this is kind of where I'm sitting and loving it, right? So I've put this retaining wall in to accommodate this other retaining wall, and it's not going to be a waterfall planter or anything, but I needed something in here to sort of like hold the weight of this part of the park. It will all make sense in the future when I actually unpack the other stuff. And then I've just replaced some fences and stuff all along here. This has now got a bit of new theming, but I have decided to keep some of the original stuff intact. So like the original stairs, they are still there and they will still be remaining. And I have just opened up a pathway here. I mean, I did kind of always think that there was going to be a pathway here, but now this definitely completely makes sense. So yeah, it's looking good, right? I am chuffed with how this is coming along. We've got some theming to do on this though. Like, you saw me starting it over here, and I like how this has turned out. So I think this is going to be this is not Big Thunder Mountain, but yeah, it's Big Thunder Mountain. So with that in mind, I better get a move on, better get cracking. See you in a mo. Alright then, you guys, here we go. I've had to remind myself that it is 1967 and we are not Disney, so I've stopped for now. And I suspect there's going to be a whole raft of modernisation improvements I'm going to make in the future, but I'm kind of at that point where I keep tinkering and I need to stop, otherwise the episode's just not going to be ready. I'm fairly certain the montage you've just watched is going to tell that story as well. So guys, no, this ride here is not Big Thunder Mountain. However, it is its British poorer cousin, Megastorm Hill Mine Train. I'm not even sorry. You can't say I've copied it if it's not a direct copy. Seriously though, if you could think of a better name, stick it in the comments. I'll probably use that in the future, but for now that's what we're going for. Anyway, let's take a look around. We're going to start here with the building. This building was absolutely trashed to pull together, but I'm so glad that I stuck with it because I love how it's turned out. And yes, of course, it's called Spitfire Mining Company, and that's because I wanted to pay homage to the ride that was on this location before. I've even used the original logo. So yeah, the rest in peace flying turns. You served a good serving. But so yeah, this building is not a rectangular building, and I kind of dig how it is. As I said, I've had to remember it's 1967, so I couldn't get too carried away with the design. And of course, I've taken a few cues from Big Thunder Mountain, but it's not by any means a copy or even a competitor to it. But I love how this has turned out. Like, yes. And inside the station, I have kept it really, really simple. Like, exposed logs. I didn't want to do the whole Big Thunder Mountain theme because we're not competing, right? It's just a ride that just happens to be very similar with a similar name. Oh man, sorry, it just keeps chuckling me. Like, ever since I thought of it, I'm like, yes, that's the perfect name. Anyway, this is inside the station. Let's take a look around elsewhere, right? So, all of the supports and stuff are now removed, and all of the wooden supports are now in, so the blue supports are all gone, and this is exactly as this coaster should look. And I have managed to pull this together quite nicely. This first turnaround feels kind of alright, actually, as far as first turnarounds go. And then inside here, you do have the maintenance area, and of course, nature doesn't know boundaries, so I've let stuff poke through, because, yes, it's new, but of course, nature is still going to do its thing. And then you come through this way, and you've got the maintenance shed up the top there, and then it comes into the gullyway, if you like, and then it comes round the corner into the lift hill, and then it just goes up. Oh yeah, you can't see up the lift hill. There you go. Then you go up the lift hill, and this is where the actual ride experience starts. So I did want to give the idea of it being a mine train, deserty type landscape, you know, Big Thunder Mountain style, but actually it still needs to be in the forest. We've done a lot of tree clearing to put this in, and that was kind of against the principle that I wanted to do. I kind of wanted to keep this area as a wooded area, right? But actually this works quite nicely. I don't think we would ever extend outside here, and maybe I'll come and put an extra forest in or whatever, but yeah, I mean, it's okay. And actually I didn't want to go OTT with the rocks because it's expensive to do this stuff. So, chill out. But I have put the rocks in, and now these supports just totally make sense. Yes, I'm so here for it. I'm loving it. I really, really am. So, this tunnel turned out better than I thought it was going to as well. Like, I put the concrete on top, and I thought, okay, this is going to work out if I now put a couple of rocks on the top just to hide it. And it has to be jank. I didn't want it to be perfect and pristine. I wanted it to be this proper janky tunnel. Like, almost like in 2023 it's rotting and they've had to do all sorts with it to make it to make it safe again. And it's going to come over this way, and then you just go through a bit of theming and a bit of stuff that's been left around, and then through the supports. This now looks so much better now that the blue has completely gone. So yes, and then through this way up into the hill, and then up into the arrow turnaround where I've just put a random train there, and then it's come around this way through another turnaround, and then into the gullyway down here. So I was going to cover this bit off, but I thought, no, actually this is pretty cool as it is. I quite like it. And again, nature knows no bounds, no boundaries. And then it's come through this way into the tunnel, and I thought, how am I going to deal with this? Because I still want to use the concrete, but I don't want it to be obvious, so I put the hut there. Absolutely makes sense. Into the second lift hill, which we already seen, into the bits that we've seen like this way as it goes round, and then we come into this. Yes, I've put a massive great shed here that's now shared with the log flume, and I love this. There are animatronics in here as well, by the way. Here we go, we're about to see it. Da-da-da. Shooty shooty. Yes, and then it dives down into the final mine, and then it comes up into the brake run. And again, this mine I wanted to be jank. This is every bit of jank I wanted it to be, because we're not hiding it. We're not Disney. Sorry, it's the name again. It just keeps. It's yeah, whatever. So elsewhere in the land, so this is what we've got. We're going to start up here. The ice cream bar now has a new home, and the gift shop also is pretty much finished. Again, I think there's some modernization stuff I need to do, but it's all good. And then just I've kitted it out for now in here. We're on the verge of getting new gifts and stuff, so I didn't want to put too much effort into here. Remember that principle of don't make too much effort for something that's not staying? Inside that gift shop is one of those things. Then we've got the test pilot, whatever it's called. It's back in the game. So it's obviously moved and it's got new homes and stuff, but it's sitting pretty there, and it's now got a lovely extended queue. It's now official. It's not even like in the middle of the forest anymore. It's right there. But remember, it's not in its original position, and that's okay. And then we've got the zipper. Actually has a name now. It's called Zipper. There we go. And it is there. I need to sort the prestige out. I've put a ride sequence that makes it like 1400 prestige. I think I need to nerf that, that's for sure. But either way, you've got the queue line there, and it's all exactly as I wanted it to be, so it's all kitted out. And then of course the the Not Big Thunder Mountain queue line is here. The food unit that I've put in, this now all makes sense. This is pretty much as I wanted it to be. I didn't want it to be any more than this. It's nicely sat there as a balcony terracey type thing. So there you go. It's all good. And then the train station, again, this train station didn't need like too much work. It just needs to be an external thing. And I'm loving the two different woods that I've used here and all that sort of stuff. It's just something nice to look at. And this alleyway is so narrow, it's shocking. And then in the rest of the area, I've just put a lot of the other western clutter around. So, you know, I've got all of the mine shafts in, and I've put a couple of water towers, and just to bring it to life, feeling like a western area. And then down by the mine train, what I've done is I use this technique all the time. I've sunk the rails into the ground so that you get an idea that it is all railway related and all that sort of stuff. So yes, and this is how it looks from the guest view. Like, some of the sight lines are really, really cool. Like, there, look at that building. That looks so cool from this sightline. I'm chuffed with that particular sightline. I'm in for it. And then the rest of the actual ride itself is pretty well hidden. And if we come back down this way to the railway station, so this is the entrance of the area where, by the way, I've put telegraph poles and stuff. This is how it looks. Like, yes, this is everything I wanted this to be. Love it. So chuffed, so chuffed. So guys, this is how it is looking from the top, and yeah, let me know what you think. Like, is it better? Is it better than the flying turns? Come on, tell me. I know the flying turns are a classic and RIP, long forgotten and stuff, but I'm alright with this. This has turned out well. So guys, thank you so much for getting to the end of the episode. I really, really do appreciate it. As always, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, blah, 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 all the usual stuff. I reckon we're going to go for a ride now. What else can we burn down in the park, do you think? See you later, guys. Bye!